1. Introduction and background. South Africa has long stood as a gateway between continents, linking Africa to the wider world with its bustling airports, vibrant economy, and role as a regional hub for travel and trade. Yet the country also faces one of aviation's greatest dilemmas: how to balance its need for connectivity and growth with the pressing environmental challenges of our era. Like the rest of the world, South Africa is grappling with the impacts of climate change, rising temperatures, shifting weather patterns, and growing pressure to cut greenhouse gas emissions. Aviation contributes significantly to these challenges, with its reliance on jet fuel and its high-altitude emissions. Against this backdrop, the arrival of the ALIA CX300, a fully battery electric aircraft developed by Beta Technologies, represents a groundbreaking opportunity. The ALIA CX300 is more than just a sleek, futuristic design, it is a practical step towards sustainable aviation. It is a conventional takeoff and landing (CTOL) aircraft, meaning it operates on standard runways like any other plane, but it is powered entirely by batteries. Its first commercial use in South Africa is projected for 2026, when it will begin trial operations on short-haul cargo routes before eventually transitioning into passenger service. This would make South Africa one of the first nations on the African continent to pioneer a zero-emissions aircraft in real commercial aviation. Why is this important? Aviation accounts for nearly 2.5% of global carbon dioxide emissions, and because these emissions occur at cruising altitudes, their warming effect is amplified. South Africa, with its large domestic air market connecting Johannesburg, Cape Town, Durban, and numerous smaller cities, is especially reliant on aviation. These short-haul routes are essential to the country's economy, enabling tourism, trade, and business travel. They are also precisely the kinds of routes where the ALIA CX300 can thrive, given its maximum range of about 460 kilometers, 250 nautical miles. The story of the ALIA CX300 begins with the vision of Beta Technologies, an American aerospace company that sought to solve the challenge of electric flight not through radical vertical takeoff drones but through a practical, efficient airplane that airports and airlines could adopt immediately. Its design is inspired by the Arctic tern, a bird renowned for its extraordinary long-distance migrations. Like the tern, the ALIA CX300 has long, elegant wings and a streamlined body, maximizing lift and minimizing drag. This efficiency allows it to squeeze the greatest possible performance out of its battery pack. For South Africa, the potential benefits are immense. Imagine flights between Johannesburg and Bloemfontein, Cape Town and George, or Durban and Richards Bay, all operated without burning a single drop of jet fuel. These routes fall comfortably within the aircraft's range and are currently operated at high cost by conventional planes. Electric propulsion would not only eliminate emissions but also reduce operating costs, potentially lowering ticket prices and making regional air travel more accessible to ordinary South Africans. Noise pollution is another area where the ALIA CX300 offers advantages. South Africa's airports, particularly those near major cities, are surrounded by residential communities that bear the brunt of aircraft noise. Traditional jet engines are loud and disruptive, especially during takeoff and landing. By contrast, the ALIA CX300's electric motors operate almost silently, drastically cutting noise levels and improving the relationship between airports and surrounding neighborhoods. This is particularly relevant for smaller regional airports, which could become more attractive to airlines once noise concerns are reduced. The environmental benefits are equally compelling. South Africa is blessed with abundant renewable energy resources, including solar, wind, and hydropower. If the ALIA CX300 is charged using clean electricity, the aircraft's operation could be nearly carbon neutral. This aligns perfectly with South Africa's commitments under the Paris Agreement and its own climate policies, which call for significant reductions in emissions across all sectors. In fact, integrating electric aviation into South Africa's broader renewable energy strategy could position the country as a global leader in sustainable transport innovation. Economically, the ALIA CX300 could also help revitalize regional air connectivity. In recent years, many smaller South African towns lost direct flights because the routes were too expensive to operate with conventional aircraft. By lowering fuel and maintenance costs, electric aircraft could make these routes viable again, reconnecting isolated communities with the national economy. This could stimulate tourism in lesser-known areas, boost small-scale trade, and encourage more balanced economic development across the provinces. Of course, the adoption of such a new technology does not come without challenges. South Africa would need to build a network of charging stations at airports to support electric aircraft operations. This would require investment, planning, and cooperation between airlines, airport authorities, and the government. Regulatory frameworks would also need to adapt to certify and oversee electric aircraft. Yet these challenges are not insurmountable, and in fact, they present an opportunity for South Africa to modernize its aviation infrastructure in step with global trends. The symbolism of the ALIA CX300's arrival in South Africa is powerful. It shows that the future of flight does not belong only to wealthy nations in the global north. By embracing electric aviation early, South Africa can demonstrate leadership on the African continent and prove that sustainability and economic growth can go hand in hand. The first commercial flights of the ALIA CX300 in 2026 will not just be about moving cargo or passengers, they will represent a shift in mindset, a glimpse of what aviation can look like in a world committed to fighting climate change. In the grand history of aviation, small beginnings have often led to great revolutions. The Wright brothers' first flight in 1903 lasted just 12 seconds, but it sparked an industry that transformed human society. The ALIA CX300 may have a limited range and capacity compared to modern jetliners, but it carries a similarly transformative potential. By proving that short-haul electric aviation is viable, it could pave the way for larger, longer-range electric and hybrid aircraft in the future. South Africa's adoption of this technology would not just be a national milestone but a continental one, offering a model for other African countries to follow. As the world watches the rollout of the ALIA CX300, South Africa finds itself at the frontier of a new era in aviation. With its unique blend of environmental urgency, economic necessity, and renewable energy potential, the country is perfectly positioned to showcase how electric aircraft can reshape the way we travel. The next chapter in aviation history may not be written in the skies above Europe or North America. It may very well unfold in the bright African sun, with the quiet hum of an electric motor carrying the promise of a cleaner, greener future. The ALIA CX300's design is a masterpiece of modern aerospace engineering, combining aerodynamic efficiency with the demands of electric propulsion. Unlike traditional aircraft, which rely on kerosene-burning jet engines, the ALIA CX300 is powered entirely by a bank of high-density lithium-ion batteries that feed electricity into multiple quiet electric motors. This is what makes the aircraft so different. It is not an experimental drone or a futuristic flying taxi, but a practical airplane designed for everyday use. The aircraft's sleek body reflects its inspiration, the Arctic tern, a bird that travels more miles than any other animal on Earth during its migrations. The tern's long wings and lightweight body allow it to conserve energy over vast distances, and the ALIA CX300 mirrors this principle. With a wingspan of over 15 meters, the aircraft generates maximum lift while minimizing drag. Its lightweight carbon composite fuselage reduces weight while maintaining strength, allowing the batteries to push the plane further than would otherwise be possible. The aircraft's maximum range is approximately 250 nautical miles, 460 kilometers. While this is far shorter than a Boeing 737 or Airbus A320, it is perfectly suited for regional flights within South Africa. For example, the distance between Johannesburg and Bloemfontein is about 380 kilometers, well within the ALIA CX300's capabilities. Similarly, Cape Town to George, 430 kilometers, and Durban to Richards Bay, 170 kilometers, are ideal routes. These are exactly the types of journeys where passengers or cargo need reliable, frequent, and cost-effective flights without the environmental burden of jet fuel. One of the aircraft's most remarkable features is its charging system. Instead of refueling with liquid fuel, the ALIA CX300 is recharged much like an electric car, only on a larger scale. Using fast charging technology developed by Beta Technologies, the plane can be brought from near empty to full charge in less than an hour. This rapid turnaround means it can complete multiple flights in a single day, making it commercially viable. For South Africa, where airport infrastructure already exists but could be modernized, building charging stations at regional hubs would be the key step toward adopting electric aviation. Noise reduction is another operational advantage. Electric motors are dramatically quieter than combustion engines. Anyone who has stood near an airport runway knows how overwhelming the roar of jet engines can be, but the ALIA CX300 produces only a fraction of that sound. In South Africa, where many regional airports are located close to towns and residential areas, quieter operations would significantly reduce noise pollution. This would allow airports to extend their operating hours without disturbing surrounding communities, ultimately expanding regional connectivity. From a safety perspective, the ALIA CX300 offers unique strengths. Electric motors have far fewer moving parts than jet engines, making them less prone to mechanical failure. The redundancy of multiple motors also increases reliability. If one motor encounters a problem, others can compensate. Additionally, the batteries are positioned in the fuselage in a way that keeps the center of gravity stable, ensuring balanced flight even under challenging conditions. Operating costs are another crucial advantage. Fuel represents one of the highest expenses for airlines, often making up 20 to 30% of total operating costs. Electricity is cheaper and more stable in price compared to jet fuel, especially when sourced from renewable energy. Maintenance costs are also expected to be lower since electric systems are simpler and require fewer inspections and parts replacements. For South African carriers, this could make the difference between maintaining or abandoning regional routes. Many smaller towns lost flights in recent years due to high costs. Electric aircraft could reopen those connections. South Africa also stands to benefit from its strong renewable energy potential. With vast solar and wind resources, the electricity to charge these planes could be generated cleanly and locally. Imagine a network where solar farms near airports feed directly into electric charging stations for aircraft. This would not only decarbonize aviation but also strengthen the country's energy independence. The ALIA CX300 is not a replacement for large international aircraft, but it was never intended to be. Its purpose is to handle short-haul routes that make up a significant portion of global aviation traffic. In South Africa, domestic flights are central to economic life, connecting cities separated by vast distances that would otherwise require long drives. By targeting this specific niche, the ALIA CX300 positions itself as a revolutionary but practical tool for making air travel greener and more efficient. When the ALIA CX300 enters service in 2026, it will likely debut as a cargo aircraft. This is a strategic choice. Cargo operations are more flexible, less regulated than passenger services, and allow airlines to test new technology without risking passenger confidence. In South Africa, this means the aircraft could begin by transporting packages, medical supplies, and essential goods between key hubs. Imagine overnight electric flights connecting Johannesburg with Durban, or Cape Town with Port Elizabeth, delivering freight quietly and cleanly. South Africa's logistics sector is heavily dependent on road transport, which contributes to congestion, delays, and carbon emissions. An electric aircraft like the ALIA CX300 could provide a fast, reliable, and sustainable alternative, particularly for high-value or time-sensitive cargo. For industries like e-commerce, pharmaceuticals, and agriculture, this could transform supply chains. Farmers exporting fresh produce could use electric cargo flights to move goods quickly to urban centers or even to connecting international flights, reducing spoilage and improving efficiency. The long-term vision, however, lies in passenger transport. The ALIA CX300 is designed to carry 5 to 6 people in its passenger configuration. While this is far smaller than traditional regional jets, it fills a niche that is currently underserved. Small towns and rural communities often cannot sustain the demand required to fill larger planes, making flights uneconomical. But a smaller, cheaper to operate aircraft could restore these routes. In South Africa, towns like Kimberley, Polokwane, and Mathatha could once again see regular flights, boosting tourism, trade, and mobility. Tourism in particular could benefit enormously. South Africa's attractions are spread across vast distances, from Kruger National Park in the northeast to Table Mountain in the southwest. Many international tourists face long drives to reach these destinations after landing in Johannesburg or Cape Town. With electric aircraft, regional connections could become cheaper, quieter, and more environmentally friendly, enhancing the country's global reputation as a sustainable tourism destination. Eco-conscious travelers are increasingly seeking destinations that align with their values, and South Africa could position itself as a leader in green aviation. Globally, the ALIA CX300 is being observed as a proof of concept for electric aviation. If it succeeds in South Africa, it could inspire adoption across the African continent. Countries like Kenya, Tanzania, and Botswana, which rely heavily on tourism and regional air travel, could follow suit. Imagine safari flights in Botswana conducted entirely on electric power, where visitors not only see pristine wilderness but also know their journey is not harming the planet. This kind of innovation would redefine ecotourism and give Africa a unique competitive edge. The global aviation industry is watching closely because regional flights represent the most promising entry point for electrification. While long-haul international flights are still far beyond the reach of current battery technology, short-haul routes are perfectly suited to aircraft like the ALIA CX300. By demonstrating success in South Africa, the aircraft could accelerate global confidence in electric aviation. No innovation comes without challenges, and the ALIA CX300 is no exception. The first and most obvious limitation is range. With a maximum of 460 kilometers, the aircraft cannot handle long-haul flights such as Johannesburg to Cape Town, 1,400 kilometers. This means its use will be limited to regional routes for the foreseeable future. However, this is not necessarily a weakness. Short-haul flights are numerous and environmentally costly, making them a logical starting point. The second challenge lies in battery technology. While lithium-ion batteries have advanced rapidly, they are still heavy and store less energy per kilogram than jet fuel. This weight issue limits both range and passenger capacity. Scientists are working on solid-state batteries and hydrogen fuel cells, which could dramatically improve performance in the future. The ALIA CX300, then, should be seen as the first step on a much longer journey toward truly large-scale electric aviation. Infrastructure is another hurdle. South Africa would need to invest in charging stations at airports, supported by renewable energy sources to ensure true environmental benefits. This will require collaboration between government, airlines, and energy providers. The cost of this infrastructure could be high initially, but it would pay off in the long term through reduced fuel imports, cleaner air, and stronger regional connectivity. There are also regulatory challenges. Aviation authorities will need to adapt their rules to certify and oversee electric aircraft. Safety standards must be rigorous, and public confidence will depend on transparency and reliability. South Africa's Civil Aviation Authority will play a critical role in ensuring these standards are met. Despite these challenges, the future prospects are bright. As battery technology improves, the range and capacity of electric aircraft will expand. Hybrid models combining batteries with small hydrogen fuel cells could extend their capabilities further. In time, even medium-haul flights across southern Africa could become feasible. The ALIA CX300 is not the end of the story but the beginning. The environmental impact of widespread adoption would be profound. Aviation is one of the hardest sectors to decarbonize, but electric aircraft offer a pathway forward. By reducing noise, eliminating emissions, and cutting costs, they make air travel more sustainable, equitable, and accessible. For South Africa, this could mean cleaner skies, healthier communities, and a stronger reputation as a leader in green innovation. Socially, the aircraft could transform how South Africans travel. Affordable regional flights could bring families closer, enable students to access education opportunities, and allow small businesses to expand their reach. The sense of connection across provinces would deepen, fostering national unity. Economically, the benefits are equally strong. Revitalized regional routes would stimulate tourism and trade. Maintenance and operational savings would reduce costs for airlines. Renewable-powered aviation would create jobs in energy and infrastructure. In short, the ALIA CX300 could be a catalyst for a more resilient, diversified economy. In conclusion, the ALIA CX300 is far more than a new aircraft. It is a symbol of what the future of aviation can look like. By introducing this technology in South Africa, the nation has the chance to lead not just Africa but the entire world in the transition to clean flight. Just as the Wright brothers' short flight in 1903 changed history, so too could the quiet hum of an electric motor over the South African landscape mark the dawn of a new era. The journey will not be easy, but the destination is clear: a future where the skies are open, affordable, and sustainable for all.